On Friday, the Dow up 600 more points on Friday, and we are off and running. And yes, the Dow up another 276 points or thereabouts. We look at the top, the 30 stocks of the Dow 30. Goldman Sachs, Boeing, Chevron, right out of the chute there, moving higher. Looks like a strong open on this Monday morning. Let's see if we can keep it going. Take a look at the S&P if we can. S&P up 0.75% at 38.91, up 28 points. Look at the Nasdaq, also up 100 points, good for another close to 1% gain. The Nasdaq at 11,556. Talking of Nasdaq, big tech, all in the green, at least the big names, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Alphabet, Microsoft, all up. The winner among that, Amazon up nearly 1.5%. By the way, more bank earnings rolling in today. And good morning, Susan Lee. Let's talk about it. Let's begin with Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, better than expected earnings there. So you had higher profit, higher sales, and yeah, profits were almost down 50% from a year ago. But I think we all expected this. We knew that that COVID boom has ended. So Goldman actually reported some stronger business than anticipated, especially when it comes to bond trading. You had sales coming in $1 billion higher than Wall Street estimates, and that's significantly higher because of trading activity that was heightened in interest rates, commodities, currencies. And as I mentioned to you, this decline that we're seeing in that investment banking division is pretty much anticipated. I also want to show you Bank of America as well, because they made higher sales and profit, and that's thanks to higher interest rates. You know, when you're in a higher rate environment, that helps the banks, and that means they make more on doling out their loans, especially with the consumer banking business like Bank of America. Fixed income trading also higher, and BOA did say that they will, and this was surprising, but still it didn't really have that big of an impact on the bottom line, that they would take a $400 million hit from those regulatory matters. And then for Schwab, which is, of course, more of a retail type of trading platform, record profit in the second quarter. Trading is up. And guess who uses Schwab? I believe our very own Stu Varney. It's a retail trader on the Schwab platform.
He's always got a finger in every pie, as they say. Is also Alphabet / Google's first day of trading after the big stock split. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so now $112 stock instead of a $2,000 stock. And this is the cheapest we've seen for Google Alphabet shares since at least 2005, after splitting 20-for-1 at the end of close on Friday. And they're also, by the way, reporting results on Tuesday next week, which should give us an indication, an outlook on the state of advertising. Also, have you checked in on Apple, which is set to report results as well next week? Quietly back up to 151 levels. So we've come up from the 20% bear market that we've seen. So, you know, some are saying that these companies, these tech stocks, obviously bellwethers in this earnings season, which still should see earnings go up 5%. But how they do is an indication of how well the global economy is performing.
Right. Very good. I want to talk about the chip makers up this morning. Is this because of new potential subsidies from the government for the industry?
$52 billion, huge number when it comes to subsidies. Wow. Also investment tax credits, of course, and that's to get more U.S. manufacturing of these chips here stateside. But this bill seems to have bipartisan support, though we do warn that this hasn't been voted into law just yet. Republicans may vote against any of these chip measures unless the Democrats give up plans to try to push through some unrelated spending bills. But there could be some bifurcated winners and losers. And a lot of people say that this CHIPS Act could actually favor the likes of Intel, Texas Instruments, Micron, because they design and manufacture their own chips within their own factories here. Now, those that might not get as much when it comes to these subsidies or help could include the NVIDIAs, the AMDs, the Qualcomms, and that's because they designed their own chips, but then they tap partners outside and they outsource the manufacturing of those wafers and those chips. So, you know, in this environment where you're talking about $52 billion, all money, of course, lifts all boats.
Very good. All right, let's turn to the airlines. Take a look at Delta. They just put in an order for Boeing 737 MAX jets, right?
Which is impressive because the deal is 100 of the 737 MAXes. Options for 30 deliveries are slated to begin in 2025, and it's Delta's first fresh order for new Boeing planes in more than a decade. And so they're looking for more fuel efficiency, of course, and these fuel-efficient MAX planes will replace older Delta narrow-body jets. And you heard Delta there talking about elevated costs for the rest of this year, and 70% of their cost goes to what else? Jet fuel. So if you can get more fuel-efficient planes to supplement and maybe bring down some of those costs, that helps boost your bottom line.
And a nice boost for Boeing. Let's take a look at Tesla. Their Bitcoin holdings may come back to bite them. How much could they lose?
So Barclays is saying that Tesla, which bought $1.5 billion last year in Bitcoin, they could see an impact of $460 million. Writing down on their Bitcoin holdings. Now, we do have Tesla, of course, reporting results on this Wednesday. We know that that 2-year run of record deliveries has ended, but I'll see whether or not they will write down that Bitcoin holding, because I believe any impact of 5% on their bottom line, they need to announce that. So I think it'll be about profit, of course. Will we extend that profit streak that we've seen for the last 24 months and counting?
Right.
Especially with the fact that we've seen that record delivery come down with Shanghai closures.
Also, Susan, we see the cryptos rallying a bit today. Any particular reason?
Yeah, so look, I think that maybe Tesla could, get a bit of reprieve if you see Bitcoin continuing this this run up back to 22,000 levels. That's the highest we've seen in more than a month. And if you gauge some of the sentiments in the cryptocurrency market, a lot of people are saying maybe the contagion is done. The shakeout and the bankruptcies, especially from Three Arrows, that crypto hedge fund that blew up and then taking a lot of other like Celsius and Voyager and even BlockFi was impacted along with it. And also that correlation, by the way, between Bitcoin prices and the NASDAQ has halved now from last year. And so that means as Bitcoin should be treated like digital gold, meaning it should react to uncertainty away from government policy and, of course, inflation.
All right. Great information as always, Susan. Thank you so much.